Welcome to Voices on Main Street, locally produced programs on your local link channel, Channel 14. Usually during this time of the year, we're talking with school children going back to school and studying the 3 R's. We're here to tell you about the 3 S's. Searchin' with the Becker County Mounted Posse, Stompin' Grapes at the Food and Wine Festival at Carlos Creek Winery, and Steam, stepping back in time at the Western Minnesota Steam Threshers Reunion. Thank you for joining us for Voices on Main Street. Reflect with us as we take you back in time to the 53rd annual Western Minnesota Steam Threshers Reunion. As one man stated, experience the living museum.
The Steam Thresher Reunion started, 53 years ago. There was about a half a dozen fellows that were sitting in Rollag implement, and they were talking about when they were kids how their dads thrashed, and they thought it'd be fun to do it again. And the show has grown from like a small family to what you see around here today. The showground, I would say, covers 80 acres. A lot of people come down here and look at this stuff, and I suppose you can relate it to some people that work on cars. Some people like an old car and fix up. Us kind of people, we like old farm equipment, old tractors, steam engines.
What we've got here is a James Leffel boiler that was built in 1948. It's about an 8-horse boiler and a 5-horse engine. And we've coupled these two together to run the carousel on steam in 1990. It was the first year that we operated the carousel on steam. What we've got is a jack shaft that runs off of a gearbox that's powered by the steam engine that goes under the platform of the carousel and then comes up and is geared into the drive mechanism for the carousel. The carousel itself is a circa 1920, although we believe it may be a little older than that. It's a Parker carousel, which is kind of an odd duck or a rarity. On most carousels, the horses go up and down, where with the Parker, they also lurch forward and backward with a contraption that we call a grasshopper that's the bottom attachment to the carousel. It's on wheels and used to be drug around probably like at county fairs and stuff like that. Back in the turn of the century, they were run by steam, the traveling outfits. Western Minnesota Steam Threshers Reunion was gifted this by Reuben Klein. He was an auto dealer in Fergus Falls. With the unique design of the building, the band organ, the carousel itself, plus operating it on steam, we've got quite a unique attraction here on the showground.
This is a 1924 Minneapolis 20-horse, and it was one of the last engines made from the Minneapolis Moline Company. It pulls probably max about 70 horse, actually, when it's doing work. One of my dad's friends has another engine out here, and he taught us how to run the engines, and we've been coming out here occasionally. And then we just fell in love with it. That was a lot of fun, and we bought an engine and started fixing it up and rebuilding it. In the back of the engine, there's a firebox, and either with coal or wood, we build up a fire, which heats all the water in the boiler, which is a big tank of water. We build up steam pressure, which causes the engine to run. We use the steam to turn the engine over. These days you can just jump on a tractor and kind of go and do whatever you want. You have your CDs, your air conditioning. But here you have to get up early in the morning, start the fire, clean stuff up. I mean, it may take a few hours before you can even start doing work in the morning. It's really unique. I mean, you could do a lot more work, and even though they only go about 2 to 4 miles an hour at max, you can still accomplish a lot more. You can plow a lot more than a horse could in a day.
This equipment kind of shows you how agriculture in itself has come around. Through time, it's gone from doing it by hand, the thrash machine, the combine, and that's how a lot of this stuff has come about and evolved. It's one person started it, and down the road somebody has changed it to make life easier.
The 50B Erie was originally delivered to the Kentucky-Virginia Stone Company in 1928. It was used daily up until 1960, taken into the shop in the winter of '60, rebuilt, and the operator passed away. None of the other fellows at the quarry wanted to operate it because of the fact it was so dirty and cumbersome and one thing and another. The diesels were easier to operate. So it sat on a static display basis at their shop for quite a number of years. Later years, my friend Bill Riddisel that owned the 54B, well, he bought it, and then '02, well, he donated it to the association, and we moved it up here. In its heyday, it worked in a quarry, and so it handled material that had been blasted, loaded onto trucks to be hauled to the crushers, then also would double back and help load out of the stockpiles onto railroad cars, one thing and another. When the operator's working there, he's kind of got his hands full. First of all, he has to watch everyone else that's around him in the area. He has to have good hand-feet coordination, because the fact that you're using power to hoist the bucket. Once you get the bucket hoisted up, you have to be on the brakes to hold the bucket, otherwise it just crashes back to the ground. Of course, you've got several levers there. One controls the swing left and right, another controls the hoisting. Your right hand controls the hoisting. Then with your left hand, you're also doing the swinging to and fro with it. To dump the bucket, you dump that with your foot. There's a steam cylinder up on the big wheel on the side of the crowd engine, as we call it, that dumps the bucket.
We like to work on old farm equipment, traction engines, and we can get dirty. And we don't have to worry about getting in an old car and have to get all cleaned up before we can crawl into it to go home. We get dirty on this and we enjoy it.